You now are listening to the audio podcast of Prisoners of Hope, the antidote to what ails your heart. I'm your host, Dr. Deborah Whitson. So come on in, pull up a chair, and open up your mind as you get ready to receive the download that hope will bring. Well, hey, it is a great day, and I'm Dr. D. Today's episode is entitled God Mentor, Go Further. And the next several episodes are going to be about the ABCs of mentorship, how to find a good mentor, what is a good mentor. So stay tuned for that. So I guess we should begin with the definition. What is a mentor? A mentor, according to Google, is an experienced and trusted advisors. So, okay, that's a mentor. So what role do they play? Mentors help develop mentees by building personal abilities and skills. A spiritual mentor, in the context of what we're talking about, we're going to talk about a spiritual mentor. And a spiritual mentor is someone who cares about you and wants the best for you. And also, a spiritual mentor knows the most important thing is for you to have a personal relationship with God. So, a spiritual mentor encourages you to invest in personal relationship with Christ. So, that is what a mentor is. That's their role and what a spiritual mentor is. So, first, we want to start off with the benefits. Why should I have a mentor? Why can't I just do it by myself? Isn't the journey quicker if I go by myself? Well, I'm going to cover some of the benefits of having a spiritual mentor. And when I'm through, you can ask yourself whether you want to do it by yourself. The first thing that I'm going to cover that a spiritual mentor gives you is affirmation and encouragement. Boy, as human beings, we all desire affirmation and we all need to be encouraged. A spiritual mentor can be someone who believes in you despite your shortcomings. Isn't that nice? If you look at Thessalonians 5:11, it says, "Therefore, encourage one another and build up one another just as you are doing." Okay? So that's some advice about a spiritual mentor for you. In life, there are many ups and downs. When you're at your low point, a spiritual mentor can remind you of your value in Christ and encourage you to keep going. It's very interesting. I've heard a lot of very successful men say, I can take all the the ill will from people, but if my wife looks at me the wrong way and doesn't give me affirmation, it just really bothers me. So even though you're on top of the mountain, everybody needs encouragement. Another thing that a spiritual mentor will bring you is a role model. A spiritual mentor leads by example. They realize it is not necessary the words that they say. That's not the necessary part, but it's the actions that speak louder than the words. The action speaks the loudest. They seek to honor God in choices they make on a daily basis. And this provides guidance for others, for those they mentor, and encourages them to mimic, to do the same. Do you ever heard of the saying, birds of a feather, they do what? They flock together. And if you, as you're growing up, your mother or your parent would say, I don't want you spending time with that boy or girl, because we know that we tend to copy our role models. If you don't believe that, just spend some time in the South, and then you will start having saying y'all, know. We tend to mimic the people around us. So all of a sudden you'll have a southern drawl if you spend too much time in the South, okay? And you spend too much time in Minnesota, you'll be going y'all all the time. You will have a Minnesotan, um, I guess, accent to your words. So role models are very important because we tend to copy those around us. The next thing is accountability. So a mentor gives you affirmation, they encourage you, they can be great role models, and they give you accountability. They make you have that. Unfortunately, it could be easy to fall into sin and to lose sight of your relationship with Christ. A spiritual mentor can be someone who is honest with you and tells you when you need to turn your focus back to God. They'll tell you you are fudging up, okay? You need to get back on track. As a result, they can keep you from continuing in a life of sin and encourage you to live in a way that is honorable to God. Accountability. It's kind of like any weight program. It works better if you have to be accountable to your weight each week. You got to look at that scale and be accountable to your weight, okay? So that's very important. So even the scale can make you accountable. But the fact that, and that's why Weight Watchers work so well because you do it as a group. You weigh in group meetings and you see people in the meeting, and that makes you accountable because you don't want to go back with a weight gain the next week. Accountability. So spiritual mentors provide affirmation, encouragement. They are role models and they provide accountability. The next thing is advice. Oh my goodness, this is so important. A spiritual mentor can offer wise counsel when it comes to some of the life's toughest decisions. They can offer you counsel as someone who walked by the road before you. They've walked the path. They walked the road before you. A mentor can guide you into the right direction. Okay? They give you directional guidance and steer you away from mistakes. But they can help you with mistakes that they made so you won't make the same mistake. They can prepare you for what is to come and offer advice from a Christian perspective. There's always saying what experience is the best teacher. I would beg to differ. I think other people's experience, if you're willing to accept it, is the best teacher. Why do you have to close your fingers in that car door yourself to know it hurts? You could watch somebody else. So I think um, other people's experience is the best teacher. Okay, so they provide advice. And also, the next thing that I think is very, very important is that they can give you a listening ear. Okay, they can listen to you. We all need someone who listens to us, right? Right? And shows us support. A spiritual mentor does not necessarily have to speak everything into your life at all times. They realize that sometimes you just need someone to listen without judgment. They show understanding because they have most likely experienced similar things and they are there for you during both good and bad times. So, a spiritual mentor can provide encouragement, affirmation. They can be role models. They can help you be accountable. They can give you advice, and then they can listen to you. That's very important. A spiritual leader is someone who cares about you. They can provide spiritual growth, okay? Like I said earlier, they know the most important relationship that you can develop in your life is the relationship with Christ. So they can encourage you and show you how to richen that relationship, how to develop that relationship that enriches your nature. Last but not least, I'm going to cover in terms of a benefit that a spiritual mentor provides is mutual benefit. And the people are like, well, mutual benefit. Well, if you look at Proverbs 27:17, it says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. This emphasizes the mutual benefit of constructive interaction, and the importance of friends who challenge and refine each other, leading to personal growth and improvement for both the mentee and the mentor. So, those are some of the benefits that you can gain by having a spiritual mentor. Do you want to do it on your own? Well, you're not going to have affirmation and encouragement unless you get self encouragement. I guess you can. You're not going to have role models. You don't have to be accountable. You're not going to have anybody give you advice. No one to listen to you. And spiritual grow won't be as evident by yourself. And you have to understand that being in a mentor-mentee relationship is mutual is provides mutual benefit for both. So now I want to look at some biblical viewpoints of the mentor-mentee relationship. If you look at Luke 6:40, the teacher and the student is not above the teacher, but everyone who is fully trained will be like their teacher. In this verse, Jesus points out that the mentor mentee relationship is dynamic, suggesting that a well taught student will reflect the qualities of a teacher. If you look at Proverbs 15:22, it talks about the value of advisors. That says, plans fail for lack of counsel, but many advisors, the plans will exceed. So the Bible is suggesting not only do you have a mentor, you need to have several different mentors, okay? I'll talk about that a little later. This proverb acknowledges the importance of having mentors and advisors, emphasizing that success often comes from seeking multiple viewpoints. Okay? Proverbs 11:14 talks about the importance of good advice. I'll emphasize good. The lack of guidance and nation fails, but victory is won through many advisors. That's that multiple advisor thing. In this verse, God reminds us that advice from others is so valuable and it can guide entire nations to succeed. When big decisions arise, seek wisdom from trusted advisors rather than trying to figure out it all alone, okay? Proverbs 19:20 says, "Listen to advice." Isn't that listen, listen. Listen to advice and accept discipline. At the end, you will be accounted among the wise. This verse highlights the importance of being receptive to mentorship, as a wisdom comes from accepting guidance and correction. So it's telling you it's important to listen to advice because wisdom comes from that. Matthew 28:19-20 talks about the Great Commission. You heard that. Therefore, go and make disciples of all the nations, reaching them and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. In this verse, Jesus' directive is to the disciples and emphasizes the role of mentorship in spiritual growth and spreading teaching to others. Last but not least, Proverbs 15:20 talks about the wisdom of association. It says, walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Oh, I like that. Walk with the wise and you will be wise. That is that that mentorship type of program, that a role model type of thing. You will become wise if you hang out with wise people, but you hang out with fools, you will suffer harm. Little correction, I said the wrong verse in Proverbs, the wrong chapter. It should be chapter 13, verse 20, which it talks about the wisdom association. That's the one. You walk with fools and you will suffer harm. If you walk with the wise, you will have wisdom. The thing that I want to stress to you that you can move faster forward with a mentor. You got mentor, you go far. Move forward faster with a mentor. And I looked at some of the benefits that you will yield by having a spiritual mentor. And I also looked at some of the Bible verses. What does the Bible say about mentorship? And what does the Bible say about being a mentor and being a mentee? And I just covered some of the verses. I think I covered maybe 6 different verses, but the Bible has many verses that pertain to mentorship. Well, right now, I think I'm out of time for this particular episode. I want you to tune in next time when we look at what it takes to be effective at both roles of the mentor and the mentee. Signing off. Until next time, God bless. Dr. D. My hope is that this journey has been fruitful and you're able to take it and apply it to your life. Until next time, tune in again for the Prisoners of Hope podcast. God bless.